Hello again mga kachismis! Eto na naman tayo sa ating latest pachika at mga pasabog na revelasyon. At ang una nga mapapasabog ay ang kandidata na mula sa US Virgin Island. Pakinggan natin ang kanyang mga saloobin sa nakaraang pageant ng Miss COSMO 2024. Ito at panoorin natin.
When the stage collapsed, and I don't know how much I should speak on this, so I probably there's more story to this, but I'm not going to speak on it because it's not my story to tell. But at least one person got crushed. And Cosmo told us he was okay, but there's another person that is rumored to not have been okay that got crushed by the stage. And that's not my story to tell. I didn't see it. Don't know what happened. Tell me what you did. I feel my fever spiking, my adrenaline, like talking about this stuff, my adrenaline's going up. I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, so when I came out, I saw the girls were crying, hysterical, like this was like it looked like a mass casualty situation, the way people were reacting. And I don't blame the girls. It was a very traumatic experience. But the injuries were really bad. There was, I don't know how many swollen, sprained ankles. One girl broke her toe, or looked like a broken toe. She was so tough. I was so proud of her. I was like, you go, girl. And she ended up doing really well at finals. So, girl, you know who you are. I'm so proud of you. I love you. But yeah, her toe was bad. Lots of really bad sprained ankles. Like, girls were already swollen and purple, and it had just happened. I'm like, oh my god, these girls are in really bad shape. And even some girls had like injured their arms and their shoulders because they had fallen and hit themselves. They were falling over each other. Like, passing out. Two girls had a total mental breakdown, according to one of the staff members. And I helped one of the girls with the mental breakdown. She was puking, crying, hysterical. And again, no fault for the way they handled it afterwards.
But you can tell them that a lot of your training is, mass casualty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, you understand that the reactions are going to be different from each individual.
Absolutely, yeah. Like my mom said, a lot of my training is curtailed to exactly what happened, or just having a complete mental breakdown like some of the girls had, like puking, crying. People handle these things so many different ways. This is exactly what my training is on. I've been trained for a long time on this stuff, and that's why when I came out of the bathroom, I was like, oh my gosh, this feels like a mass casualty situation because girls are like completely just having a really rough time. Really rough time.
What did you do from there?
Yeah, so what I did from there is, so one of the girls, I don't know if this has been released, so I'm not going to say her name. She was cut right here above her eye. And it was only a cut about maybe this big. It could have been even smaller. But head injuries, they bleed a lot. They bleed a lot. So the girls were really freaking out. She had her hand covering her eye. So I couldn't see her injury, but I ran to her. The staff had already taken her in another room. They didn't even blink an eye when I went to go in there. They're just like, yes, let him please. Because I haven't taken care of a lot of people since then, so they just opened the door, let me in. And she handled it so well because she thought she lost her eye by the way people were reacting. I thought she lost her eye by the way people were reacting. She's covered, and then she slowly takes her hand off, and I'm like, oh my god, her eye's still there. I was ready to shove a towel, shove something in there to stop the bleeding. I was like, okay, we're ready for this. I was like, take your hand off. And luckily she was okay. It was just a small cut. But none of the staff had a first aid kit. There's no first aid kit anywhere within Cosmo. Mine was back at the hotel room because I can't carry around a first aid kit all the time, a huge one all the time. I had everything I would have needed in there, but again, I didn't have it with me. It was back at the hotel. The stadium that the stage collapse happened at, there was a first aid kit, but I opened it up. The only thing in the first aid kit was like Tylenol and like a bug bite patch or like a back sprain patch or something like that. It was like it was like a gauze filled with chemicals. I'm like, well, I can't use that. And I don't read Vietnamese, so I opened it up and they're like, don't use that. I'm like, I'm just looking at it because I don't have anything to use to help her.
Use toilet paper.
Yeah, but the bathroom, mom was like, you could use toilet paper. I'm like, the bathroom was so far away.
Toilet paper, right?
No, I don't know. I don't remember what I used. I don't remember. It all happened really fast. But she handled it like a champ. She was actually one of the most calm girls. I was like, you go, girl. I was like, as long as you're not in shock, just keep doing what you're doing. But then, so she finally went to the hospital. It took a while for the girls to go to the hospital who needed to go to the hospital. and then I went into the main room where we all were, and this is before the CEO came in, but a lot of girls had so many injuries, like so many ankle injuries. I was going around propping up foots, like on suitcases, and we had little stools, so I was going around and, making sure all their feet were elevated and things like that. And so it was a lot, and girls were really hysterical, rightfully so. The hysteria didn't calm down for a long time, even when the CEO came in. Henry, he got to witness a lot of the trauma that was done to them, which I'm glad because it was just.
What did he tell you to do or not to do?
Yeah, he told us not to contact anyone, not to contact our national directors.
You weren't allowed to tell
We
them?
weren't allowed to tell anyone about what happened. I'm pretty sure he said our families were okay because someone asked her, like, can we contact our family? I'm pretty sure, yeah, he said our families were okay, but not to contact our national directors, not to tell anyone. Oh, and our sashes were immediately confiscated. Like, before we'd even been, like, put into a room, they immediately took all our sashes.
So that was the priority? I had not heard that part. The
Yeah.
priority was to collect your sashes over the injuries?
One person was going around collecting all the sashes.
God.
Mine was one of the first ones. They thought I was going to the hospital with the girls, so mine was one of the first one to get confiscated. And at first, I just thought it was only the girls going to the hospitals, but no, it was all the girls. And yeah, it was before we even got like ushered into the room and stuff. I'm pretty sure because I wasn't in the room yet. I'm pretty sure other girls were still around, but it was like one of their first things was to collect all the sashes. Which I thought was really odd. And I was like, oh, well. But anyway, yeah. So I'm glad the CEO kind of got to see what the girls kind of went through. And he went around, shook our hands, things like that. Girls were hobbling. I had a sprained ankle at the time. I didn't sprain my ankle during this, but I still had a sprained ankle at the time. And I walked past. I was like, I will not hobble past this man. I walk normal. I was like, I'm not gonna hobble. I'm not gonna limp. But yeah, well, one of the girls ended up, again, I'm not going to say who or anything like that, but one of the girls stood up and asked, and I felt so bad because she was one of my close friends. She said, can we tell our national directors? Because I really don't want them to panic. And eventually he said, you can tell them you're okay, don't tell them anything else. At least that's what I remember him saying. And this is in shortened words, but that was basically what he said. So yeah, that was just, it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So triaging everyone, it was, and seeing, and two of the girls directly saw something really, really bad happen to two of the stage crew. And hearing what they were saying, it was just a lot. And also, I don't know this for sure, but they were hushed, again, like not to tell anyone about what happened. The COSMO staff had gone over to them in the parking lot after we got off the bus at the hotel. And I thought it was odd. I was like, oh, I want to listen to this. So I like went over there and they're like, what you doing here, Lennon? What you doing here, Virgin Islands? I'm like, oh, nothing, just going to talk with them. Because I wanted to hear what's going on. I didn't end up hearing anything, but I just thought it was really odd.
And at this point, you still had a little bit of confidence that they would make things right?
Definitely.
Because they said they were going to send a psychologist. Did they send a psychologist?
They sent a psychologist around to different rooms. A psychologist never knocked on our door, never came to our door. Some of the staff came, two of my favorite girls from the staff came to check on us. Mostly one of my roommates because she had seen a lot. She was one of the girls who had tripped over girls, saw girls get yanked out. Like there were girls having to get pulled out. Like our stage managers and our security. Our security was amazing. I don't know if you guys have probably seen them in the background. They're the guys in the black suits, looking all sharp all the time. I love them to death. They were great. Oh, the organization didn't buy me a phone. No. I bought my phone. So I have my Vietnamese phone and my American phone. My security person went and bought it, and actually Mr. Lloyd was helping translate, which is super nice. So that was great. He helped with that, but no, I paid for my phone. But yeah, they were supposed to send a psychologist around to each room. They didn't end up doing that. Only certain rooms got the psychologist. But yeah, so that's kind of what happened. But
There are a lot of comments around here saying that their thoughts on the press conference yesterday, like when she had the press conference and she was talking about the people who were sleeping and who were sick with their leg injuries. What's thoughts on that?
yeah, I have a hard time when, and this was kind of, I didn't spend much time around, the winner, Tata. But from what I did spend around her, I really liked her. She was great. But I just have a hard time when people uplift others, to uplift themselves and put down others. I don't feel that we should put down others to uplift ourselves. And I
Yeah.
felt like that might have been a little bit what was happening. Again, I'm not going to speak on it too much because I don't like to go into, drama or things about the girls or anything like that unless it's facts. But I really feel for the girls who were kind of attacked in that scenario, in that press conference or things like that, because it's just,
What queen is.
yeah, to me, that's not really what a queen does, especially because, some girls got treatment of able to sleep in, able to get their hair and makeup done every day, able to come with no makeup, or able to, not have great manners and things like that. Yeah, show up late, have the bus waiting, or like be on live at breakfast. Meanwhile, the girls are waiting on the bus. Just different things like that, where it's really hard to see that. It's hard to listen to, oh, other girls are making excuses when
They themselves.
they themselves had a lot of those same issues going on.
Yeah, and
It's just,
felt like it felt like she was also justifying her win, like she was already defending the decision.
again, that's whoever Cosmo wanted to choose, that is completely up to them. It's their queen. But it's just, I don't feel that a queen should put down others to elevate herself. That goes for every single queen, every single Cosmo queen, every single person. That's never been me, and I don't condone that. It's really hard to see that.
Do you think it was fair what they were saying about Atisa?
Oh, I don't think it was fair what they were saying about Atiza at all. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. She had a doctor's note. She had everything. She was in a wheelchair. And again, it was funny because I got sent like the edit of, it was like a fan edit of Atiza in a wheelchair, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so mean. Why would they put her in a wheelchair? That's horrible. And then I figured out she was actually in a wheelchair. I was like, oh my goodness, they weren't being mean. She's actually in a wheelchair. My heart just went out for her because she had the doctor's note, she had everything. And this was very real. Like, everyone's pain was very real and very valid. And I was proud of her for listening to the doctor's advice, because a lot of girls wouldn't, probably, and then they'd end up paying for it later. So I was very proud of her for listening to doctor's advice.
At ayan na nga mga kachismis ang ating latest chika na nasagap ngayong araw. Anong masasabi nyo? Comment down below. And thank you so much for watching. Mwah.